Welcome back, everyone. I have my Panthera out here, so I'm going to get it retuned. I had some leaks on the bottle side that I addressed really quick, so it was just a bonded seal at the bottle. And I had a leak at one of the gauges, the lower one. I had been going back and forth with the FX gauges and some white face ones and stuff like that. And over time, swapping all those out, the seal just got kind of worn down, so got a little leak there. Looks like it's fixed now, so got that all swapped out, so now I'm leak free, thank goodness. And the other thing I did was I had a humid air regulator that was still brand new in the bag, so I figured I would try one of those again. I did have some reg butter from Air Shootist, so I figured that would be a good opportunity to try that product out and put it on a Huma reg and put it in here and see how it does. So if you watched some of my very first videos, which were terrible by the way, which these are still terrible, but I was having a lot of trouble with the Huma air regs. They did not like this specific air gun, so I reassembled a brand new one, put some reg butter on there, slapped it in here, and so that is in here right now. So I haven't shot it yet. I raised the reg up to about 140 bar, just as a starting point, so I could bump it up a little bit out here and see what the speeds are. So the other thing I'm going to try while I'm out here is the 42 grain Ace slugs. So these are .218 instead of a .2175 that the 40 grainers are. So I'm going to try these out. My specific liner has shot 218s pretty well. A lot of FX liners typically are a little bit tighter than other manufacturers, so that's why they kind of made these for like the Karmas, Scouts, things like that that might have a little bit looser of a tolerance or a larger diameter of a 218, for example. So I'm going to try these out. So I brought out a couple tins and we'll see. Obviously I think they're gonna run a little bit slower because of the grain weight and the diameter. So I will see how they go. So I'm gonna get set up, swap the camera around and start shooting. So after I re-aired it up, I do think I still have a leak at the gauge. So I'm gonna have to look into that when I get home, but it is looking like it's on the bottle side. So if you have a leak, you want to have it on the bottle side, not on the plenum side, because at least you can still fill it up and not have your shots really be too affected. But if it's on the plenum side, you're going to have shot inconsistencies. So I guess as far as leaks go, I got kind of lucky, but leaks are part of the game when you get into air guns. Some air guns have less leaks than others, but if you shoot air guns long enough, you're going to end up having some leaks. I'm almost positive. So just getting these 42 grainers out of the baggie and load it up. So there is a little bit of wind down there, so that doesn't make this ideal weather for today, but it should be okay. Out of any slug that I've shot, the aces are the least affected by wind by far. So even though there might be a slight variance down there, should be able to figure out how these are doing. So like I said, the reg is at about 140, and my hammer spring I backed off to about level 3. So you know, 3/4 of the way through. There's only level 1 to 4 on your hammer spring, so I'm at the level 3, so 3/4 of the way. So I got the profile loaded up in the chronograph, and now I'm going to see if it will launch these through the barrel, or if I'm going to need to tighten it up. All right, 953, and it dang near shot exactly where I was aiming at 50 yards. That's a good sign. It sounded a lot louder than usual, but I'll figure that out here in a second. I forgot to put my scope cam on, so let me make this safe and do that. Sorry, guys. So this is the ScopeMate TSC 28. It came out maybe last year. I have had pretty much every scope cam except for the side shot one with the GoPro. And I started with the Tacticam, not great. Went to the Trigger Cam 2.1, really good trigger cam, solid, waterproof pretty much. Really like that trigger cam a lot. The only thing I don't like about it is when you're swapping it between rifles a lot, like I do. You gotta focus it from the app essentially. So you need to have your phone on you, connect it to Bluetooth, focus it up. It's kind of a pain in the butt. That's the only thing I didn't really like about it. This one has a built-in screen on it and a focus wheel that's on the side. So I can swap it between air guns and get it focused and ready to go really fast. So that's pretty much why I like this one the most. The only thing I don't like about this one is the audio. The audio from this is a little crunchy, a little high pitched. It just doesn't sound like a very large microphone, but I use the audio from my main camera there mostly anyway, but the trigger cam probably had the best audio. But video quality, they all worked really well, but functionality wise, this is the one that I like the most. So I know some people have been asking that a couple times, and I tell them this is the one I like, but I don't always have time to explain it in the comments. But all right, you can probably hear the wind coming in now. Okay, let's keep going. Start a new string since I started that a minute ago. Okay, looks like the reg is kind of settled in at about like 148. It's just below the 150 mark on there. Hammer spring, haven't touched it yet. It's at level 3. Okay. So that was the hole that I shot that first shot at. Oh, that's the wind down there. Oh goodness. So my target is sitting at like a pretty hard angle now, and I did put the stakes in it, but man, it's really pushing it around. So this is going to be a little difficult, but man, these are shooting fantastic right away. I didn't even have to change anything. So reg right at about 148 and hammer spring right at 3. Wow, the BC 0.238. Again, for my area, that is really great. Average velocity is about 951. Let me see what the ballistics are, and then 8.38 for, or 2.41 for 100 yards. Let me zero this in a little bit. It's a little bit low and left, and then I'll push it out to 100 and see where the group is out there. It's just not even really low, it just is to the left a little bit, so. Okay, let's see if one click will do it. There's the wind. More wind. I think I turned it the wrong way like a like a noob. Okay. Here we go. I went too far. Let's back it off one. Boop. Okay. So it is wasting a lot of air. I can hear it just blasting out, and the shot count is right at the reg. So I know that it's wasting a lot of air. So I'm going to try to back off the hammer spring a little bit and see if I can get it to be a little bit more efficient. I went over the reg on that one, or under the reg. So that was 921, and the reg dropped down to 130. So I ran out of air essentially. So that is part of tuning. And what you want to do is just make sure that you have an efficient enough tune to get through your string. Maybe with a little extra, but definitely enough to make it through 12 shots typically. So when I shoot NRL 22, for some reason I feel like some of the rounds were like 14 rounds, except for that might be a different series I was shooting. So I try to tune my stuff to at least take 14 to 15 shots, just so I have a little bit of wiggle room. But most stages are either 10 or 12 shots. So that is typically going to be enough. Let's re-air here. So you got to remember, when you go to adjust your hammer spring, you need to be decocked. So when you pull it back to the rear, that's obviously charging it. So right now it is charged. So hold it back to the rear, make sure it's on fire, hold the trigger down, and then ride it forward. Now it is decocked. So go ahead and switch it back to safe. So now I'm going to drop it down probably to 2.5, and then we'll know pretty quick if, see, I can't, there we go. All right, so 2.5, let's try that. Boom. So really great group, nailing it. So I can tell that it doesn't sound as snappy, so it's still firing. That's the other thing too. If you drop it too low, it's not going to really engage the valve, and you'll just have one loaded in there. So if that happens, make sure that you charge it, take the mag out, and then shoot it through, because you'll double load it, you'll double feed it. And I know that because I've done it a couple times, to be fair. So that looked really good. The BC, not as great that time, 0.84. So I can, at this point, try to push it out. I'm really happy with this grouping, actually. All right, so it's telling me that I need to go up 2.5 for 100 yards. So I'm going to try that now. All right, so it's grouping okay. Down at 100, probably about like that. Probably like a inch and a half, maybe 100. So not the tightest group out there, but for competition and NRL 22, this would be fine. I've shot competitions where I wasn't able to get a really good tune and it was just an enormous group and I still did okay. So I think I could push these a little faster. So yeah, the average was 952, BC 0.17818. So it's a little slow. So now that I have this, I think what I might do is try to bump the reg up just a bit up to 150, 155, because that is usually where I shoot this, and I know now that this is going to be okay. So I just have a pad of paper out with me, and kind of in the back here, I write down my tune info. And if nothing else, just kind of helps me catalog like what's going on and what's working and what's not. So I'm going to just log this that at 148 bar at 2.5 hammer, they're going 952 and grouping pretty good. All right, gave it a little bit of a turn there. All right, I overshot it a little bit. It's like at 165 now. A little too much in my opinion. Sometimes might be a little bit too much. So I might just get through this last mag, and then depending on what happens, if it's not great, then I need to degas this. I'll just wait to do it at home, and then drop the reg down just a think. But let's see. $947. Yeah, wind. It's okay. Jeez. right, well, the tune is a lot more efficient because I didn't even come close to the reg limit there. All right, I raised the hammer spring up a couple clicks. Let's see if I'm gaining any velocity or not. .986. Wind. It's moving on me. Flyer on that. Average of 980. Group wasn't terrible. Sounds like it's wasting air though now at this point. All right, let's try it out at 100. 2.23. 2.2. Adjust the parallax. Not too bad of a group out at 100. Could be better, but this is basically how I kind of go about my tuning. Is I sit here until I can figure it out. All right, here's 100 yards. So not too bad. This was that first group. This is that second one. Yeah, not too bad, especially just for the first kind of steps of tuning in a slug. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so that's it. So these 42 grainers are shooting really well. Pretty much from when I started with the lower reg all the way up to the higher reg, they were grouping pretty decently. Not the best groups that this thing has shot, but going into a competition, I would be okay with that and NRL 22. Mainly just because you have to you just have to hit the steel. So you need accuracy, but you don't need precision. Precision is more like a bench rest style discipline, I guess you could say. You know, you need to hit that 10 ring every time. With accuracy, you just need to be able to hit the plates. So that is that's that. So I'm gonna keep going with these 42 grainers for a little while. I have a couple more tins, and I'll let you guys know how they do. So that's it for now. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.